Check, audio check, sound check. 1, 2, 3, 4. Audio check. Sound check. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good evening and good morning to all of you. This is Perm here. We are now ready to start. We welcome you to the demo session on the SAP HANA with the S4HANA Embedded Analytics. Today in the demo session, we will have a brief introduction on the list of the topics that will be part of our training program. And we will log into the system to explore the training environment where we have the HANA 2.0 and the S4HANA versions available for the exploration. During the demo session, if you have questions, you can click on the raise hand icon or use the chat box to type in your questions. We will open for questions in another 15 minutes. Yes, so you can use the chat box. You can put your questions to all participants so that everyone can see your questions, and I will type in the answer on the chat box during the session. And after 15 minutes, we will open for questions. You can use your microphones. All right, the recording of the session will be available with the training team. Tech e-training, kindly check with the training coordinator for the details about the recording of this demo session, the system access, and the relevant documents from the SAP for SAP HANA 2.0 and S4HANA Embedded Analytics. All right, so let's get started. My name is Param, and I will be your trainer in all these sessions. We have today the agenda or the list of topics that are part of our program, and I will start with the slides, and we will log into the system to be able to explore the training environment. So we're going to use the SAP HANA 2.0 version and the S4HANA. In the S4HANA, we have multiple versions, the 2016, 1610, 1710, 1810. Likewise, there are different versions of the S4, and we will also require to connect with the ECC, SAP ECC Classic, ECC6, EHP7, to be able to compare the difference between the classic SAP ERP ECC versus the S4HANA. Now, our emphasis is to be able to understand the embedded analytics, whereby there are different data modeling views, or known as virtual data models, that we will require to create in due course of the training program. and be able to understand the different types of views, the data models, whether the data modeling in the HANA Studio with native HANA or the HANA database tables, or working with the application layer, the S4HANA. And there are different types of views within the S4. So all of these are either created by the SAP already, or else the consultant creates those customized views and consume it in the presentation layer or the reporting layer. Okay, so we've got here the training documents that are required, and the first one here is the HANA 2.0. We've got HA 100 document, which is important for all of us to have the basics, all right, and then followed by the HA 300 over here. So HA 100 and then 300. 300 is more about the HANA modeling, and there are also certain topics about the reporting on HANA. Then followed by the S4, which is the foundation S4H400, the foundation on the S4HANA basics, and the basics of the reporting or embedded analytics, followed by further development or working with new types of S4HANA views that is referred as the CDS views, so core data services. This is a new addition whereby today in the higher version S4 on HANA 2.0, we work with the CDS views either created by the SAP standard or the ones that we create based upon our customer requirements. It could be for a basic reporting or advanced reporting or some control logic that we use in the S4 application layer. So these are the two main components of our training program, the basics of the SAP HANA, followed by the S4 HANA with embedded analytics. All right, so this is what we will have in our training. And we will also be taking various examples of the customers who have the combination of HANA with the S4. And today there is also a mandatory option for customers to be migrating to the HANA because all the SAP customers have a particular requirement in terms of SAP standardization and going with HANA by 2025 and upgrading to the S4 from the classic SAP Business Suite systems. Okay, so this is our main agenda of our training program. Okay, so you will be able to get all of the relevant documents from the training coordinator and start reading these documents as we start our programs. All right, so we have some basics that we all need to know in terms of the market background, and I'm going to go to the next slide. All right, so over here in the next slide, we have the different milestones that we've seen over the past. We have SAP HANA release in 2011. We will understand how HANA is different and why customers prefer the SAP HANA, followed by the BW on HANA. This is another important ingredient for the business analytics, as well as for the reporting, for the BW consultants, and also for all the SAP stakeholders, because today when we go with the S4, we will also have some of those data coming in from HANA or the BW for HANA, where we will discuss some of those advanced topics later after the main agenda of the training is completed. And then followed by the Business Suite on HANA. This is the ECC powered by HANA with CRM, SRM, PLM, supply chain management powered by HANA. This was released in 2013. and this was the milestone whereby the critical live systems like ERP was able to be mounted on HANA, and customers started to have the benefits for faster reporting, analytics, as well as the faster transaction. Now, 2014 onwards, SAP started to develop the optimization programs and the simplification programs and the acceleration programs for the business suite on HANA by taking the finance module first. All right, so because every business for the customers, finance module is the critical module where all the financial planning, the budgeting, the forecasting, the receivables, the payables is all computed over here. So SAP started to accelerate the finance module on HANA, then simplify the finance module to make single source of truth available in one single box, and SAP started to make sure that the scalability was applied, and therefore later in 2015, the S4HANA was officially released with the finance module simplified and the logistics module simplified for the core ERP S4HANA on the HANA database. So starting 2015 onwards, there has been a series of requirements coming in from various customers, consulting partners, and the small, medium businesses who would like to experiment the new S4 platform. And there are also other big data-based companies and customers who wanted to experiment with the S4. So it's not about just high speed or bulk data or big data, but it's also about the optimization processes which are being embedded in the new ERP S4HANA. Okay, so we will discuss all of these together in the program step by step. But first, we need to know about the different generations of the SAP. All right. So in the next slide, we have here the different generations whereby we've seen the ERP over here. This is right here, ERP. Right? This is what we've all experienced. However, there are other older versions, like the first generation ERP was the R2, second generation SAP is the R3 real-time 3-tier architecture, and then the third generation ERP most of us have experienced is the third generation. And today, the fourth generation is the S4. So S here is the SAP/4, here is the fourth generation and powered by the HANA database. So S4HANA is only built on HANA database, not on Oracle or Sybase or SQL Server or DB2, MaxDB or other databases. The S4HANA, it is only built on HANA database. Okay, so we have the fourth generation here, and this is just to give you an idea where we are coming from in terms of the SAP platform. Now, from the customer standpoint, we have seen various ERP with different systems of records been maintained across different sectors and industries. For example, if we take a manufacturing sector, the utilities, the services or the education, or you take, for example, the healthcare or CPG sector, defense or public sector, the different type of LOBs. LOB here is line of business. So if my customer is working with a pharmaceutical company or a supplier who have implemented ERPs, they're going to have the line of business or the data or system of records only related to the pharmaceutical sector. Right? So this is the LOB, line of business, which is incorporated with the ERP for conducting the day-to-day activities and transactions and reporting and thereafter the analytics, and sometimes the planning with the forecasting. So ERP is always concatenated with a line of business data. If my customer is a manufacturing customer in terms of automobiles manufacturing or original equipment manufacturer, for example, so they're going to have the LOB. Now, so ERP is the system of records where the transactional records are executed, transactions are executed, and the records are stored. In the underlying database, the Oracle database or RDBMS, Sybase, Teradata sometimes. In the case of Coca-Cola company, they go for Teradata system, and many other database providers like DB2, Sybase, or Informax system, etc. So ERP always had the need of a underlying database, right? Because this is the transactional application layer, and this one right here is the database layer, right? So this is how it used to be, and this is how we always have been working with. And this is what you will also find in existing customers who are going to migrate to the HANA. Okay, so SAP over here is the application layer, and Oracle over here is the database layer. All right, so I got a question from Gadivadi Sujivana, right? So what is the connection between Oracle and SAP, right? The connection here is that the SAP is here, ERP, the application layer, and Oracle is the database layer, right? Because every business have application and database, and on top application, we also have a reporting or presentation layer. Right? So the next box on the right-hand side is the business analytics, where system of engagement. So we're going to engage the various reports, the different planning data, the standard reports, the customized report for our transactions for different modules, whether it's the sales or finance or related with the inventory or procurement or the production, or even quality management. So all of this report, whether daily sales report or monthly inventory report or yearly expenses report, those are all going to be derived from the business analytics. It is another separate server, which also requires an underlying database, right? So again, here we use the BW system for maintaining the business warehouse, and then we have underlying database. So this is what we have a majority of old customers where there is a online transactional processing, OLTP, in the SAP application server for the day-to-day transaction, and underlying Oracle database to store the data on a daily basis, after which the data is copied from here to make sure that we have the daily reports or weekly reports or monthly or quarterly reports coming in from the SAP reporting system or the BW system, which also needs an underlying database to store all of those historical data for the last 5 years, 10 years, and so forth. So SAP here is the application layer, and the Oracle or other DBMS is the database layer. So this is what we have today. Now, introducing the SAP HANA as a new replacement for the underlying database. Right? So you will find that SAP HANA is projected here in the database layer of any business environment. Any system landscaping will always have a SAP HANA as the underlying database that's going to replace the other existing databases, like, for example, the Oracle, right? So it's going to replace the Oracle database or SQL Server database or DB2 database. So, all right, and make sure that we have one singular database that can perform all of the activities, right? To combine the data sets in one single database. So because of the capacity of the SAP HANA and the real-time availability of the data, and there are various other innovations within HANA we will learn as we proceed. The SAP HANA is now able to reduce the complexity of our landscape first, and second of all, reduce the cost to the customer because we have to just maintain one database for multiple application servers. It could be the ERP, it could be the reporting, it could be the planning system, it could be other forecasting systems and so forth can run on one single HANA database. So SAP HANA over here provides a unified single source of truth, a unified acceleration from the data processing standpoint, because HANA always offer a high performance in terms of data that is written from the ERP or data that is extracted from HANA for reporting purpose. So whether it is writing the data or reading the data, HANA always offer a high performance within real time, right? So these are all able to be concatenated in terms of the processing. Yes, I have one a question from Ghulam Mustafa. The question here, you mean transaction or analytic reports on one DB? Absolutely, yes. So this particular concept of HANA offering one singular database for the customer to support both the real-time operation of OLTP and the reporting, right? This concept is referred as MCard. Okay, MCard. MCard means multiple components on one single database. So here I'm going to write, this is application 1, application server 1, application server 2, and so forth can connect to one single database. So this concept is called MCard, multiple component on one single database. Of course, HANA system have to be a particular size. It has certain installation guidelines in order to support MCard, because there will be humongous amount of data throughput that is expected from both the OLTP system right here. This is online transactional processing system, ERP, and the OLAP, online analytical processing for analytics. So there's always a read and write, input, output happening all the time, and huge amount of data. We are not just talking about some records. We're talking about some millions of records across different tables, across different modules, across different users accessing the ERP and the analytical tools. So HANA has been tried, tested, and proven. As we've seen in the earlier slide, the SAP HANA was launched already early on in the year 2011, right? Let's quickly jump back to the earlier slide, previous slide, right? So this is what HANA was released in 2011, and this is what we are here today with the architecture whereby SAP HANA is able to offer all of those transactions into one particular database. And starting 2015, today we are on 2019, it's already tried, tested, and proven across different industry sectors to be able to offer MCard as a lower cost and a higher productive environment for all the system landscaping, as well as the scalability to the new landscape for big data processing, bulk data, and real time. Okay, so this is what we have. And then slowly over a period of time, the other traditional databases will be replaced by the HANA database. Okay, now why do we need the two systems, whether if it is a application system for the OLTP and application for analytics? Always remember there are two engagements in a business environment. One is the OLTP and the other is the OLAP. Online transaction processing, this is our transactional system. And online analytical processing, this is our analytics. So why do we need two different systems? This is because we have a lot of historical data. Okay, so when it comes to historical data, we always need a separate application which is designed specifically for reporting analytics, and OLTP designed for conducting day-to-day transactions. Now, there could be different types of strategies that are implemented by different customers, especially small, medium customers can use just one S4, and then they have the real-time reports also coming in from those S4's environment. But for large enterprise system, we always need a separate analytical system because we are talking about terabytes, petabytes, yottabytes, or gigabytes of data. We're talking of billions of records over the last 10, 15, 20, 25 years, and one box of S4 or HANA will not be sufficient. So for those very large enterprises, we still have a need of the business analytics system offered by the BW or the B4 on HANA. Okay, so this is what we have here, and I got a question from Naveen K. So in this case, why SAP not agree that slowly BW will be gone, but rather they come up with the B4, right? So for large enterprise, so whenever we have a customer, we should always approach with a particular distinction based upon the type of customer. Okay, so if I go here to the drawing board, let me just write here on the drawing board. Right, so you have small, medium business, right? And then we have large enterprises. Small, medium business or small, medium enterprises. So for small, medium business, right, one system is sufficient to perform both OLTP and OLAP in one system. So OLTP for transaction and online analytical processing in one system sufficient by one HANA system. This is for small, medium customers, small, medium business, or small, medium enterprises. So one HANA system is sufficient. Then look at the large enterprise environments. So for large enterprises where we are talking about data sets, which is on an average throughput of about 10 terabytes for a day-to-day OLTP, right? And about 500 terabytes for OLAP. This is just an average number for the minimum large enterprise sizing. So when we talk about on a daily basis, you are engaging 10 terabytes of data for doing transaction in one particular module, right? Likewise, multiplied by multiple modules for FI, SD, MM, QM, so there are different type of modules. Then OLAP AP or the OLAP for analytics, we are dealing with 500 terabytes for a weekly report on the basis of one module multiplied by multiple modules. So for large enterprise, we're talking about huge amount of data. And in those cases, the OLTP and the OLAP, right, will be different servers. OLAP will be offered by the business warehouse. OLTP will be offered by the SAP ERP or the ECC system. So both will be integrated on single HANA database or different HANA database. So it could be based upon the strategy of the landscaping. So for small, medium enterprises and the large enterprises, the landscaping will be different than what you have in the business environment for individual customers, right? So for large enterprise, there is also a concept of multi-tenancy with BW or the B4, S4, and not only these two, but also other business suite like CRM, SRM, PLM, supply chain, MDM, MDG, or GRC systems on HANA. So it could be based upon those different strategies. Small, medium can work with a singular HANA, whereas large enterprise require a combination of HANA systems or application systems. So let us come back to our slide over here. Right. So this is the singular MCard. And you also have large enterprises working with multiple HANA systems when we have a need of staging data for different bulk data processing. Let's say we are working with CRM and SRM and supply chain management along with the ERP. So you're going to have different multi-tenancies also designed as a network of HANA systems. So those are all the deployment from the engagement standpoint. Next question I have is from Chen Ganesh. Is HANA database partitioned for each application system? Absolutely, yes. So within the HANA system, you will find there are hosts, okay? So within the HANA system, there are hosts. One host for the ERP, another host for the BW or other application. So each host have a partitioning of data sets. So host, let's say here S4 and another host here, let's say B4. These are the two hosts on one HANA database. So S4 host will have all the S4 data sets, and likewise for the BW. They are partitioned with different hosts, and each host will be for different application. Next question from Ghulam Mustafa is here in the chat box. Question here is, would OLAP in HANA has aggregation of facts like we have in OLAP cubes, right? So answer is yes, because HANA offers an integration possible for both the OLTP and the OLAP, because this is how it was designed to support small, medium businesses as well as large enterprises. And one server for application or multiple application servers on HANA. So it is able to support all of those functionalities. So therefore, the answer is yes. So if I go back into the other previous slide, you will find here already in the year 2013, okay, let me just go back to the previous slide. So in the year 2013, the option for supporting OLAP, the OLAP for analytics, and OLTP for transaction was supported on the HANA in this particular combination for the business suite powered by HANA. So business suite powered by HANA is the suite, the SOH suite on HANA. So this is where you'll be able to see that if I'm having a BW cube with the BW on HANA, right, those aggregation functionalities are offered with HANA. However, this is applicable for small, medium business. For large enterprises, we're going to need a separate BW box, similar functionality, but a scalable design of the landscaping for large enterprise when you're dealing with billions of records on a daily basis for transaction or historical data. We're going to need a separate business application on HANA. So for both the design for small, medium, and large enterprise, this is the offering from the design point of view by the SAP. Okay, so let us proceed over here from the foundation, all right, and we will proceed here to some of the topics that we all require in terms of the understanding from the architecture standpoint. So I'm proceeding over here to the next slide where we have a combination of the technology components. So today in the technology components, when we're starting to work with the S4, we will have to have a HANA database because S4 will only be operational on HANA database, all right? Then we have here HANA Live. So HANA Live is a combination of already predefined live and active HANA data models, like those attribute views, analytic, or the calculation views. We will discuss about these views more in the upcoming session. Then we have here S4HANA CDS views, S4HANA virtual data models. So we have one from the database and the other from the S4 application layer. So these are all those logical views and the subtypes of these logical views will be another key ingredient that will be required for our embedded analytics, and how to create, how to design, what type of operational logic have to be built, what is the minimum syntax required to create these views in the HANA or in the S4HANA layer. We will discuss those in detail. Then whatever views that we create or queries that we design will be consumed in the SAP Fiori user interface. So SAP Fiori today is the new presentation layer. Whether we want to execute a transaction or we want to see a financial statement report, right? So for both the transaction as well as the reporting, we have the Fiori Launchpad. It could be executed on your local mobile phones or using the desktop Windows or browser, right? So these are the three technical ingredients or components that we require to expertise in order to work with HANA, and not just HANA, the S4 data modeling, reporting, and the presentation in the SAP Fiori. Okay, all good. So let us go over to the architecture of the SAP HANA so that we are able to visualize the different layers that are involved in the overall process for extracting or migrating or loading data from different SAP or other non-SAP systems into the HANA layer first. So this is the first thing that we need in any implementation or migration project relating to HANA, is to bring data, is to be able to extract data or replicate data from existing SAP or non-SAP legacy sources. All right, so HANA will come as a box with all of those engines and library functions. But it will not contain the data. It will not have our business data. Business data have to be extracted or migrated from the existing SAP or non-SAP systems by using different migration tools or those replication extraction tools. So this is how it's going to be in our implementation project. Data will go upward from the source to the target. So source system here could be an existing SAP customer with already SAP ERP or BW, or maybe non-SAP databases or non-SAP application sources. Possible, right? So data could be everywhere. We just have to bring the data into the HANA using the replication tools. So all of these replication tools offer real-time replication services. Right? We got SLT, we got data services. These are the tools that are required to replicate the data. And then inside the HANA, there are some of those computing engines and calculators or aggregation functions, or library functions to perform the analytics or join engines. And we have something called as the row and the column store. We will discuss later in more detail. So all the data is processed here in the HANA, and then we start designing our programs or complex report or the data model here, for example, calculation views, or even working with the CDS views, the core data service view, because CDS view, you got different subtypes. So we have something called as basic CDS view, open CDS view, composite CDS view, consumption CDS view, transaction CDS views, and extension CDS views. So there are different types of those CDS views and different types of the HANA views like attribute views, analytic calculation. We'll focus more on the calculation views here on the HANA too. So all of the designing of these views, data modeling, programming, computation, intermapping, these are all done here in this modeling studio, and then they're consumed in applications running on HANA or reporting tools offered by the Bob J, the business objects. So this is how we initiate our project engagement, bottom up, all the way from the source through the migration replicators into the HANA, start the designing, compute, develop the type of the views in HANA or the S4 CDS, and then consume it in the presentation layer. So this is the key architecture. Then after we are through here, in the S4, we have some additional architecture that we also need to be aware, and that is right here in the next slide. Now, in the next slide, we've got a new offering through this S4 embedded analytics as a framework. And so it is a framework which offers different types of business users for conducting transactions, or power users who are going to work with all of the design and administration, or the core developers. So you have different type of users in the SAP. So in the new S4 embedded analytics, for different modules, whether you're working with the spend analytics, or you're trying to capture all the incoming payments and do the sales order for all the incoming, as well as the release of the purchase order with the expected delivery time, or even creating purchase order, or creating PR, converting PR to PO, releasing PO, or other spends, or other business processes relating to production, manufacturing, inventory, financials, etc. So these are all going to be the business processes. And for each of these business processes, we have different process owners or process users. Could be the business user, or power user, or developers who are going to develop our data models. So here we see Smart Business Cockpit, multi-dimensional reporting, query browser app in the Fiori, right? Then query designer, this is coming from the BW, then KPI modeler app, And then for the developers, we have ABAP perspective in the Eclipse or HANA Studio for ABAP programmers to leverage the ABAP programming or the database programming together for creation of the CDS views. Then later on, once all of those views are designed, they're consumed in the front end and published into either SAP Cloud for Analytics or BobJ, BI, Lumira, and so forth. Okay. All right. So this is the overall architecture. We're going to go step by step and be able to understand all of these areas in the HANA architecture, as well as the S4HANA embedded architecture. All right. Now, coming here with the next slide, what are those documents we need to read? And what are those documents that are required for the complete understanding of HANA and the S4? So we have here HA100. This is the foundation on HANA. Then HA200, this is the basis administration for administration, database administrators, network, a security administrator. Then HA300 for data modeling in HANA. Then HA350 for those extraction tools like SLT, data services, extraction tools. This is another document. Then we have here S4H400. This is the foundation document for S4HANA Embedded Analytics, followed by the S4HANA Embedded Analytics development with the CDS views. Okay, so these are the main documents that are required as a study material for this training program. It's going to help you in understanding all of the components of SAP HANA and all of the components of the S4HANA and the components that are required to migrate data to the HANA platform, right? So these are the study materials we all need. Please make sure that you're in contact with the technical support to gain access to these documents and freely download and start reading these materials. Okay, all right. Next, let me go over to the question from Manohar K. Will this training cover deep insights calculation view with the complex requirement SQL scripting? Yes, we will have the syntax of the calculation view, how to write our SQL scripting for the syntax with regards to the development of the calculation view. This is within HANA. Then moreover, what cannot be done in the SQL scripting can now be achieved in the ABAP programming, right? So in ABAP, there are certain commands or annotations, as we call it, that have more functionalities than the database view. And that is why we start to see the emergence of CDS views rather than our HANA calculation attribute analytic views. We will discuss those as we proceed in our training. Next, a question from Ghulam Mustafa. Question here is it deployed on-prem or on cloud? As I mentioned, storage is huge. Right. So for the deployment of our HANA, we have different deployment strategy in terms of customers who already have the data centers. So we've got something called as on-prem or on-premise. So for those customers who have the landscape, they have their data center, and in the data center, they have the security, and they got the space, and they got the server rooms, right? So in those cases, customer go for on-premise. It requires some extra expense in terms of maintaining the space, maintaining the infrastructure for on-premise. Then the next type of deployment, which is of the lower cost, is on the cloud, right? So today we've got our phone numbers or contact numbers that you can upload on the Google Cloud, or you can share movies or documents over the Google Drive. All right, so something like that. We have a cloud for enterprise customers. So for those enterprise with more secured access for the uplink and the downlink with the cloud connectivity is offered by the AWS, Amazon Web Services. Then we got Microsoft Azure. We have SAP Cloud and so forth. So this is of a lower cost and faster time to value for deployment. Right, the customer do not have to wait for the server to be, dispatched into the data center and take time to create the servers. But if you go with the cloud, you can start instantaneously by subscribing to these cloud providers, right? So for huge memory requirement storage data, we have today a combination called the hybrid environment. Okay, so let me just clear this. Hybrid landscaping or hybrid deployment. So hybrid deployment is something that we have on-premise combined with on cloud. So some of the mission critical systems, we keep it on-premise, and some of the other systems, we upload it on the cloud. So we do a linking between these two to maintain our storage, to maintain our data sets in terms of the deployment. Right, so this is the hybrid scenario, very, very common across all the customers, right? Okay, moving on to the next question in the chat box is Chen Ganesh, what is SAP Cloud for Analytics, right? So we have different type of offering from the SAP and the partners of SAP on the cloud, right? So we've got Amazon, Microsoft, with the Microsoft Azure cloud, we have AWS, and SAP and other have their own cloud platform. So SAP Cloud for Analytics is the combination. So this is the cloud offering from SAP. So SAP Cloud for Analytics is whereby you've got all the BI tools, the BobJ tools. These are all the SAP reporting tools, SAP BI reporting, SAP BobJ reporting, SAP Lumira reporting, SAP predictive analytics reporting. So all of those SAP related reporting tools which are offered on the cloud for those customers who want to take these services from the cloud using the SAP cloud-based reporting tools, go for the SAP Cloud for Analytics. These are all analytical tools from SAP offered in SAP's own cloud. This particular platform, it is part of the SAP Cloud Platform. SAP Cloud Platform. The SAP Cloud Platform also offers exclusive SAP reporting tools bundled and packaged together in one cloud account, and then you can subscribe based upon what you need. I need only BobJ, I need only Lumira, I can subscribe that, and I can connect to my ERP system and use these SAP reporting on the cloud for our analytics. So that is SAP Cloud for Analytics, right? Next question from Abdul Ghaffar is how many case studies will be completed in this course, right? So for our case studies, we have one particular case study that is part of development, okay, for designing. We have one more case study for the reporting. So one case study for development and one case study for the reporting. There are many other use cases that the document will be shared separately. Next question from Gulam is from infrastructure standpoint, do we need a DR as well? If yes, Right. So DR is the disaster recovery. DR is disaster recovery. So this is a strategy to make sure that our system is always available, whether part of the system is functioning or not functioning, outage, power supply, or any natural calamities. We always have a strategy in place to recover from these disaster, whether it is a power supply, utilities problem with regards to the supply of network connectivity, network failures, all right, or other natural calamities. The answer is yes. This has been designed as a type of a different landscaping strategy. So we've got the synchronous mirroring. We have different topologies similar to any other design of RDBMS, DBMS. You have master node, you got dependent node, then you have a standby node, right? And you have hot standby, cold standby, likewise. So therefore, you got multiple multi-tenancies, okay? Multi-tenants. Each tenant is a system that's going to take the standby or store the data for any recovery against the lost backup point. Okay, so yes, we have this topology for our DR and high availability. Okay, so let us go over to our slide. Please contact the training service provider, training provider. The phone numbers are over here. Okay, so here you have the US phone number 201-478-8484, right? That's the phone number you can just quickly call up for any questions, for the timing, schedule, and the documents. The recording of the demo session, right? And your system access. Okay, so system access is important, right? So let us quickly go over to our training environment so that we have some look and feel of how the training system will be like in terms of our training environment. So let us go here to the desktop. I will need to hold your question for a moment. I will take questions another 5 minutes, okay? So we are here in this training landscape, and inside the training landscape, you will be given access to different systems for performing certain activities relating to loading data or extracting data, right? Then you have access to the HANA environment, HANA database, whereby we are connecting to the BW on HANA, or you're working with the web IDE, or you're connecting with the S4HANA system, right? Or S4HANA 1610 system, S4HANA 17.9 system, or BW75 system, okay? So these are different user ID passwords that will be shared by your training provider. The coordinator will share these details. Once you enroll for the program, you have access to these different systems. So what are those different systems that we need? Okay, so we have to have access to S4HANA, any one of the S4HANA, 1610, 17.9, 18.9, whichever we need, at least one HANA system access with the S4 application on that HANA environment. So this is our S4, followed by the ECC. So you need to have access to any one of the ECC system. Why? Because we have to compare the basic difference between the classic ECC and what you have in the new S4. Right? So you need to have any one of the ECC. Then followed by the BW as well. So for those consultants who are also working as a business analyst, you need to have access to any one of these BW systems. So these are our training environment for the application servers. Now for the underlying HANA database, you need to have access to at least one of the HANA database, whether your HANA is for the ERP or the S4 or the BW, whichever, you need to have access to any one of the HANA database. Once you have HANA database and expand, you have these folders like, for example, backup folder. So this is for those database administrators who are going to design the backup, the frequency of the backup, and the destination of those backup files that have to be stored in directory. And it's going to give you the backup catalog. When was the last time the backup was successful? When was the last time the backup has completely failed? Or when was the last time the backup was executed but not completely completed? Okay, so you have all of these catalog for the backup DBA administrators. Then coming here to next folder, it is the catalog folder. This is going to give you all of those partitioned database folders for different modules. So you have different business scenarios. For each of the different business scenarios, you're going to use those respective folder or the schema over here, and then be able to get the underlying table over here through these schemas, and then design your requirements working with these tables. Okay, so these are the different schemas that we have in our training. So let me just go to one of the schemas and just go in here to get some of the tables. You can see these are all the multiple tables that are available. Okay, you can search for any particular table. Likewise, double click on the table. You will see the table structure. If there's data in the table, you can right click and perform data preview, right? Like this, for example, and get some distinct count from the records that are part of the table. Here I'm looking at sales store for different store location. These are 3 different store locations, and I have distinct count of the store locations per cities, or I can go for analysis per store location, get me the quantity per store location. So one that's in London, I have 9 quantities, and likewise. So you can use different types of these charts for analytics purpose. And it's a lot easier when you start designing these data models going forward. Okay, so that is here in the data sets in the catalog folder. Then comes our content folder where you'll have some of those HANA basic data models. Okay, so HANA basic data models that are created in HANA, for example, if I'm going to expand here or just right click here and get to see what are those views that I can create as a developer or as a data modeling, as a business analyst, or even sometimes as a project stakeholder, I need some of these views like attribute views for master data, analytic views for the transactional data, calculation views for the computation of data or unification of data. Then we've got different other objects as well. Okay, so these are all native HANA views. Then we have the SAP Fiori. Okay, so that is going to give you information with regards to the user interface. So you will need access to the Fiori with the Fiori app, and it's going to give you access to transactions or reports or those views. Okay, so we have another list of course plan over here. You can see with regards to our embedded analytics. So these are the different units that we will discover as we proceed. So getting started with our access, working with the analytical apps for S4, working with the tools for the IT expert. This is basically all the tools that we need to migrate data, SLT, data services, designing HANA Studio, those views, and analytics integration with the S4. This is going to be about working with those CDS views and how we integrate the CDS view analytics with the ABAP programming, with the core SQL scripting, with S4 on the HANA database. Then working with the BW or the B4 with the S4, why we need it and how we use it. Then some predefined contents and some best practices with customer examples are available here. So this is the agenda for the embedded analytics. Okay, so let us come back to our contact slide. So kindly get in touch with the training provider. Okay, and get your system access. Okay, so system access, you need to check with the training service or training provider because they will give you all the required access for the servers. And then the documents. So documents that you need with regards to the HANA or S4, all of those development. Okay, so I have next sessions planning for topic architecture calculation. Yeah, this is question from Manohar. Yes, so we will be providing the topics list, the list of the topics that are part of the training. Yep. So you can check that particular document. Okay. All right. Then I have an update from the training provider. I'm just checking with the training provider. Yes, so we have session 1 tomorrow, same time. Okay, so let me just put it on the screen, all of those final details with regards to the system access. You put it on the screen. So your system access, as I got the confirmation from the technical team, is that you will be given access to the system for 4 months. That's your system access. So whenever you would like to practice different use cases, you can use a system. It's available for 4 months. The training timelines is 9 p.m. in the evening, Eastern Standard Time. So US Eastern Standard Time, 9 p.m. We're going to start our class, online class. Training duration is going to be for 2 weeks, and session starts tomorrow, first session. Next question from Abdul Ghaffar is a question on the chat box. What will be the percentage of the course HANA 2 development? So it's divided into 50%. We will be spending our time in HANA, and 50% we're going to spend the time on the S4HANA. Right? So at the beginning, we have our slide with the main compartments of the training. Let me just quickly jump back into our slide number 2 over here, where we have HANA and then S4HANA Embedded Analytics. Going to spend 50% on HANA development, modeling, reporting with some of the basics on security and migration. Then S4HANA with the S4HANA Embedded Analytics. Okay, so for your queries, you can get in touch with the training team. Okay. All right, so this is our training contact for your queries regarding the system access. Okay, I have next question from Sudhakar. Yeah, so we have 15 sessions. We have 15 sessions. Each session will be for 2 hours. So we have 30 hours. Correct. 15 sessions, 2 hours per session, daily, correct? So kindly focus on what we have in our agenda. The quantity-wise, right? So we will have 30 hours, and the quality of the content is what is important for our training. Not just how many sessions or how many hours we spend, but this is going to be precise and concise to what we are planning to deliver here is 50% of the course content on HANA and 50% on the S4HANA. Okay, then system access is for 4 months. You can check with the training provider to get your system access up and running. Make sure your servers are connected, because when you start a program, we will have continuous ongoing activities both on the system and on the slides. We will do both activities. So it's going to be a concise program. Okay, so let me write here, number of sessions. There will be 15 sessions. Okay. So please get in touch with the training coordinator for your queries regarding your server access, your documents. Queries regarding the timelines, the course fees, the content, the recording of the demo session. Okay. Next question, we have Madhu question, how to integrate HANA with Tableau, right? So for connecting HANA with the Tableau, we need to go back to our previous slide, which is on the architecture of the SAP HANA, right? So if you want to connect Tableau, first up, Tableau is a application for reporting analytics. So this is right here at the presentation layer. And what you have here is the HANA. HANA will acquire data from different sources using different replicators. Okay, so Tableau connectivity with HANA requires some connectors, or known as adapters. Those adapters work with MDX adapter, SQL adapter, or third-party adapters. These adapters will be integrated in the API, Application Programming Interface Connector. So today, it's very simple, straightforward, by using these APIs, or just by simply connecting with DB connector, right? DB connector, because HANA is a database. So you can connect to the DB connector. DB connector can be JDB connector, Open DB connector, like JDBC, ODBC, all right, or ODBO. So you can use all these connectors. They have the inbuilt APIs to communicate with the HANA, whether you're connecting with Tableau or ClickView or third-party reporting tools like Informatica, Data Junction, and so forth. Okay, so these are available using the DB connections. Okay. All right. So kindly get in touch with the technical team for the recording of the demo session. You can play on your phone whenever you're free. And if you have questions, you can contact the training support for any questions, technical difficulties, system access, training documents. All right. Please feel free. This is we are conducting training since 2012 onwards. Since 2012, we are conducting this training. It is about 7 years now, and we make sure that we ensure to provide the quality-based training in terms of the content, your server, and what we communicate here on this online module-based training. Okay, this is going to be precise with the agenda. And after completion of the training, if you still have questions, the training support team will be always available to answer your queries, whether technical queries or strategies or project management or any guidance that you're looking forward for your career advancement. You can feel free to contact a training provider. Okay. All right. So thank you all. We're going to start our session from tomorrow onwards. Same time, 9 p.m. EST. Please check your emails. 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to have our first session tomorrow, same time. Okay, I have a question from Ravi A. Highlight the content covering for S4HANA Embedded Analytics. Okay, so for S4HANA Embedded Analytics, we're going to use the standard document from the SAP, which is S4H400. You can have a look here on my screen. We got different units about the S4HANA Embedded Analytics, and each unit describe in detail about what are the views that we're going to work with, what are the tools that we require, and how do you integrate, and some of those content provided by the SAP with this particular document. So this is available for your reference, and the document will be available for your download. So you're going to require this document, and there's one more document, which is the CDS view development. Okay, so if I quickly go over to the slide where we have the document numbers. Okay, this is in question from Ravi. So 100, 300, these are the two main for HANA, then followed by S4H400 and S4H410. These are the two documents. Yes, these are certification materials. These are certification documents provided by the SAP. So after completion of the course, you can go for certification on HANA. And S4HANA Embedded Analytics certification is yet to be released. So whenever it is released, then you can directly go for examination by referring these two documents. These are certification materials. So what SAP does is they release the document first, and then they release the certification exam after 6 months. Okay, so these are certification materials. So this is question coming from Abdul Ghaffar. By the end of the course, which certification can be done? So by the end of the course, you can go for the HANA certification exam as application consultant. We will be sharing those certification codes that you can opt for at the end of the session. For S4HANA Embedded Analytics, it is yet to be released. We're expecting by the end of the year, we will have S4HANA EA, which is Embedded Analytics certification released from these two documents. Okay, all right. Any other questions? Yeah, question from Ravi about, yes, we have something called as plan visualization. We're going to cover that and for performance. Then are you going to cover custom standard SAP CD? Yes, absolutely, yes, 100%. We're going to discuss those. Right, so we will discuss about the CDS views provided by the SAP, CDS views that we can create, because there are different types of CDS views today. Basic CDS view, open CDS view, we have composite CDS view, right? So basic CDS view and the composite CDS view are known as interface CDS views. Then we have consumption CDS views that are used in the SAP Fiori using query browser app. And then we have transaction views and extended CDS views. Right. So for the embedded analytics, we have the course outline. Then for the CDS view, this is the course outline. You can have a check. This is question from Ravi about the CDS views. Okay, so basic CDS view, composite CDS view, consumption CDS views. These are the new types of views that will be in our embedded analytics. So this will come in later, not immediately. This will come in later after we are through with the HANA basics. Okay. So we need to first up understand what is SAP HANA and how SAP HANA is offered in terms of the new platform, especially HANA 2.0. How do you model the data? How do you extract data here? And how do you run the reports on top of HANA here? Then after completion of the basics of SAP HANA, then only we go to the further areas of the new S4HANA, new types of views and the development, and of course, the Fiori Launchpad, which is becoming the new interface for end users. Right? So these are the two main ingredients. We start with the basics, then we go to the advanced. And after completion of the course, we will have the confidence to be able to go for certification or go for the project work or interviews, and of course, system access available for your exploration. Next query from Sudhakar R. How is the market for embedded analytics? Well, embedded analytics has been already there before with the HANA embedded analytics, but today the embedded analytics has becoming a new requirement because customers who have already gone live with HANA, customers who are gone live with the S4, now they would like to go for these analytics which are embedded, provided by the SAP, or the ones that we create from our CDS views or business queries, right? So it is upcoming. We will start to see a lot of traction early next year because of the reporting analytics. We've seen various tractions this year as well, but we are going to have more because more customers are on the S4. Once they're on the S4, then comes the reporting requirements. So different type of Fiori apps, different type of analytical apps, different type of those transactional apps, and of course our CDS views for control logic, complex are required for those ABAP and the program-based reporting. Right? So this is a new concept, a new framework, and it has been implemented across the S4 customers, and hence the requirement, and hence SAP has provided those certification study materials, S4H400 and S4H410. These two documents are released for exclusive on embedded analytics. Okay, so this is what we got for our demo. If you have any other questions, you can get in touch with the technical team, training provider. The system access, as we discussed, will be available for 4 months. You will be able to explore different use cases. And even after training, you can contact the training team for any issues, difficulties working with the environment. The training timings are 9 p.m. EST on a daily basis on the evening. Sessions, we will have 15 sessions, and session starts tomorrow. Thank you all. Good night and good day. We are going to see you all again tomorrow for our first session and take it forward. Please make sure you have your documents and you're able to do some research before attending the course, and we get started. Thank you all. Good night and good day. Take care and bye-bye for now.